political directness, race in America. The civil rights era of the 1960s and how it all began. The majority of the American population prior to the 1960s were oriented in the family, community, and the church. This is fact. But things began to change in the early 1900s with W.E.B. Du Bois' endorsement for presidential candidate Woodrow Wilson in 1912. Then the Great Mississippi River Flood of 1927 that engulfed 10 states, and the 1929 crash that caused the Great Depression forced the government to look at itself a little differently. President Roosevelt saw an avenue that could help all people get back to work and also help the greatly needed infrastructure of our nation. The New Deal was born. Public work projects were sweeping the nation, funded with public tax dollars. But needless to say, this was the beginning stages of the ideology of government dependency and the thought that government is the answer. Before 1933, the majority of the black population was Republican affiliated with deep conservative roots of family and church. But those numbers drizzled to about 50% by the 1960s, where Lyndon B. Johnson was president, and as the tides were, he saw an avenue to help himself and the Democratic Party. He, like JFK, wanted to help blacks, but his reasoning was quite different. It was political. I believe the soul of a man is in work. It is the self-motivating factor of our success. But LBJ believed there was an easier way to not only help with certain struggles, but also to gain the black vote for good. He was quoted by reporter Ronald Kessler saying to two Democratic governors this: "These Negroes are getting uppity these days, and that's a problem for us. We've got to give them a little something, but I'll have these niggers voting Democratic for the next 200 years." Whoa. LBJ then heightened the black vote again by appointing Thurgood Marshall to the Supreme Court, and did so for political reasonings. As another quote from the book Flawed Giant by Robert Dallek points out, when asked why not a less famous black judge, LBJ replied, "When I appoint a nigger to the bench, I want everybody to know he's a nigger." Now, I use these quotes not to cause ill will with anyone or to diminish the works of President Johnson, but to set the tone as to why and how many in the black populace have turned away from its original beliefs of self-reliance, family, community, and church. The acts by the Democrats in the subsequent years have engulfed 39.8% of all blacks into government dependency. Hence the beginning of the sought-after 200-year reign of the Democratic Party over blacks. These gifts, as LBJ called them, have easily manipulated some of the black community, and the Democratic Party should be ashamed of themselves. The fact is that the shift from Republican and conservative values by blacks to the liberal Democrat ideology was because of the infusion of repertory gifts. The path many blacks have taken in the last 50 years is in no way of a dream that Dr. King had, but a vision that a white Democratic politician had. I believe that the blacks of yesteryear would actually have issue with the sheep-like mentality and lack of self today. Being an American is simple. Have individual worth, be respectful, proud, family-oriented, God-fearing, and productive no matter your race. That's simple conservative values. To the point, 16.2 million whites, or 8.1% of the white population, 8.5 million Hispanics, or 15.7% of their population, not including the 11.7 million illegals, and over 16.8 million blacks, or 39.8% of their respective total population, are on government welfare dependency. This is staggering, people. But those liberal Democrats insist on the narrative that it's government that can help the most. No single person is guaranteed an easy life, no matter their skin color. Yet government benefits suck people into believing that it can. The Democratic Party gives you gifts that many believe now are entitlements, and they're not for numerous of reasons. But they do it to buy your votes so they can gain power and influence in and over your lives. This is proven by the fact that the vast majority of minorities do indeed vote Democratic. The race issues in America aren't because people haven't changed. It's because the Democrats want to classify everything and anything to promote tensions that keep us from being able to make those changes permanent. Race baiters thrive off this tension, just like many other so-called crazed activists who raise issue with everything and expect the country to not only accept certain views of a minority, but insist we make them law. People, stop, slow down, and take a deep breath. And seriously ask yourself, does any of this make sense to me? Conservative values were what Black, Hispanic, and most all other Americans once believed in. The family, the community, the church, self-reliance, self-responsibility, self-respect. Where is that today? For many, the family dynamic has been replaced with a government nanny that promotes multiple childbirths out of wedlock. And then you're rewarded for it with money and benefits that keep you from being educated, from finding or even keeping a good job. Your churches have been replaced by gangs that kill each other and sell drugs on the corner of your streets. And it seems okay to join them and then loot and destroy your own neighborhood and act with ignorance. These are facts. The value of yesterday are now today's political punchlines of divisiveness. The decrease of the church and both parents as a moral influence and the increase in government dependency has taken the principles of conservative values away. We have to put these values back into our homes, as a lost child becomes a lost community, and that affects everyone. But some say the minority community has it better than any other group in America. The majority of all new laws are to their benefit, supposedly. Every time a minority speaks or complains, they're heard because people are scared to offend them or to be labeled as a racist or a bigot in this politically correct world we live in today. There's affirmative action, so at times some can get jobs over some more qualified people simply because of their skin color or sex or gender, which is racist within itself. They more easily qualify for any government benefit, maybe a form of reparation and inclusion. And your allegiance for this goes to the Democratic Party, not to America, as shown by some who want to use our flag as a stomping ground or fire starter to directly disrespect our nation and its servicemen and women. Without this nation and the blanket of freedom in which it provides, where would you be? How much better off are you now? Blacks have double-digit unemployment, and nearly half the black population is on welfare, thanks to Obama and his flunkies. Where is the American dream gone? Is this the new reality? To just collect with no contribution and to raise issue with every little thing in our society? Political correctness is a disease, people. If you can't speak the truth and have to worry about offending someone, what is the purpose of free speech and independence? I, for one, will not, have not, and certainly won't be forced to do it. Political directness is what this country needs. It's my motto and the name of my website and Facebook page. The political left of the government has done nothing but try to suck the lifeblood, the drive, and the overall independence right out of us. It has grouped the majority of minorities into one group and placed a footnote on your life that reads, "I can't achieve anything on my own." The exact opposite of a Republican and conservative viewpoint. As a conservative Republican, we believe in the individual. The achievements made by the individual are the achievements made by society, and that makes progress. People, there is only one thing that separates us. It is not race, religion, sex, gender, finances, or some other crackpot category you crazy lefties can conjure up. It is simply effort. Nothing holds you back from achieving the American dream except yourself. Pull up your big boy pants, present yourself accordingly, and don't blame others. When you act like a thug with your pants to your knees or have tattoos and piercings all over your face, your limitations are all on you. You are slamming the brakes on your own life. You have to be aware of the realities of society, as you aren't owed anything in this world. We are all what we are because that is what we have allowed ourselves to become. I have lived all over this great country of ours and been all over the world and never had any issues with people simply because of their skin color or any other tag placed on someone. I have and have had best of friends of other races, ethnicities, religious ideals, and political affiliations. I've had a gay roommate with AIDS, but no matter my personal history, some will try to brand me. You'll never get through to some, but 50% of your views would change if you removed ideas that manipulate your thought process, such as the rioting of late. Just take race out of the picture and see what the results would be. Would you as an individual actually continue to be a part of and condone these acts? I think not. Now, the issue of white privilege. Get over yourselves. There is no such thing. This is just another liberal divisive tactic to keep many of you to stay in suit with the Democratic left. Think of all the damn ways that have come up in the last 6 years that classifies people into groups. It's unbelievable. And those who are privileged in any way in our society, no matter their race, it's because they worked for everything they've got. Even the 1%ers. Using your hands or mind, it doesn't matter. You worked for it. So get over the classifying of others and begin to classify yourself as a productive American citizen. Or if you're so hurt by the American values and the self-reliant founding, get the hell out. I would gladly vote for public funding and even donate from my own coffers to buy you a one-way ticket out of this glorious, glorious, and exceptional country. But I know that's the only gift some of you would never take. As mentioned, I'm sure many of you now have branded me a racist and a bigot. It is actually expected from a certain amount of you, but the reality is, even if I have had Black, Hispanic, Oriental, and gay friends my whole life, some who are my best friends to this day, my business partners for years, or former roommates, nothing matters to a certain portion of you haters, self-righteous racists, and just ignorant-ass people in general. So who cares? Label me. I have spoken the truth and simply am attempting to make people take responsibility for themselves and to let others know how stupid they truly are. Now, I understand the negative connotation the word nigger has taken in America. As a decent human, I don't like the word, even if it was the term used by the natives from the Ivory Coast of Africa, hint, the countries of Niger and Nigeria. But many of you in the black populace use this word regularly. Stop saying it. I know that many blacks utterly despise the word from any mouth that speaks it. So I say stand up and take charge within your own families and neighborhoods with that. As long as you allow the Thug Nation to use it in their music and everyday lives, the connotation it has will be forever in our world as a description of negativity. That's Cootie's Corner.